Hey, it's One Plucky Pixel here, and welcome back to another creative design tutorial. In today's video, we will be covering all the ways to create custom text boxes within Adobe InDesign. Starting things off, we have a pretty basic one-page document. Additionally, in our Layers panel, we have a separate layer for our image, which is currently locked, and a separate layer for our text, the layer we will be focusing on currently. From here, let's dive in. Of course, we have our basic type tool. We can select it, click on our canvas, drag, and form more or less a rectangular text box, just like normal. From here, let's go ahead and add in some placeholder copy. I'll navigate over to Type, and from here, select Fill with Placeholder Text. Now, let's say I want a slight angle to my text box. To do so, I'm going to utilize the Direct Selection tool. I'll select it like so. And from here, I will then utilize Shift on my keyboard and click one of the anchor points. From here, I can then click the anchor point and drag it accordingly. I can drag it up and down, left and right, or I can hold Shift and align it perfectly, just like this. I can do the same thing over here, clicking the anchor point, holding Shift, and dragging it accordingly, just like that. Now, I can take this a step further. Let's say I want a little bit of curve on this edge. Navigating over here to our panel, we're going to utilize the Convert Direction Point tool. By default, the pen tool will likely be active, so simply click and hold, and then select the Convert Direction Point tool, which is very similar to the Anchor Point tool in Adobe Illustrator. Upon doing so, we can then select any point, just like this. And if we click and hold while dragging our mouse, we can then create handles just like so. Of course, I can also refine my curves further. You can either utilize the current tool or return back to the direct selection tool. Just like this. From here, I'll just finesse my curve. And there we have it. Of course, going back to the tool over here, you can also utilize the Add Anchor Point tool or Delete Anchor Point tool. For example, if I add anchor points, I can create additional points on my text box. Using the Direct Selection tool, I can then adjust them accordingly. If I no longer need an anchor point, simply click and hold and select Delete Anchor Point tool. And from here, just remove the anchor point you no longer need. Just like that. Now, another way you can create a custom text box is to simply utilize a shape. In this case, we do have some default options over here. For example, upon clicking and holding, we have the Rectangle tool, Ellipse tool, and also the Polygon tool. In this case, I will select the Ellipse tool and create a circle by the man's foot. I'm going to click, hold Alt and Shift, and create my perfect circle just like that. From here, all you have to do is select the Type tool, and then click within your shape. Once more, I will utilize some placeholder copy, selecting Type, and selecting Fill with Placeholder Text just like that. Of course, this method will work with all kinds of shapes. You could have a hexagon or star, for example, and the tool will work just the same. Additionally, you can form a custom text box completely from scratch, utilizing the pen tool like so. Let's say, for example, I want the text box to be roughly this, going straight across, diagonal on the arm and jacket, and then going straight across like so. With my pen tool active, I will create one point over here, hold shift and create a point over here. Let's add one here, here, holding shift to go across, and then completing our shape, just like that. From here, just like the shape tools, all you have to do is select your type tool like so, click on your new vectored shape, and of course, fill with placeholder text. And there we have it. Now, in some cases, you may want to create a more complex text wrap. Unfortunately, this process is harder in Adobe InDesign than it is in Adobe Illustrator. However, there is a method. Currently, we have the image of the man over here, a JPEG with no transparent background or vector silhouette around him. However, we can create one. I'm going to utilize my pen tool like so, and I'm going to create an outline around the man. Don't worry about sticking too close to his form, and instead start to lay down anchor points just like this, creating a rough offset path around him. Of course, you can utilize other tools like adding anchor points, removing anchor points, or utilizing Adobe InDesign's version of the anchor point tool. From here, I will go ahead and speed up this process. Alright, and our custom vector shape is now complete. From here, I'll go back to my regular selection tool, and as you can see, we will leave this completely transparent. While the custom shape is selected, navigate over to Window, and select Text Wrap. From here, select this option, Wrap Around Object Shape, and from here, you will then be able to utilize an offset if you would like to. I will leave this as is for the time being. From here, I can then select my type tool and create my custom text box. Let's make it fairly large, going across the entire model. I'll then go ahead, select type, and fill with placeholder text. And as you can see, this is our text wrap. Of course, I can select my custom vector shape. I'm going to utilize Command L to lock my text box for the time being. And selecting my vector shape, I can of course increase the offset if I would like to, just like this. And there we have it. Overall, this is a quick overview of all the cool things you can do with text boxes within Adobe InDesign. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out in the comment section below, and I hope to see you in the next video. As always, thank you so much for watching.